Cheers, Scotty.
Oh, cheers all the way. Cheers to your tits.
Cheers for fears.
Oh, it's a great band.
Cheers for beers.
Easy cheer.
Go ahead and recline that thing all the way back and pour yourself a nice little bottle of bubbly.
You putting some fingers in there? Are you doing that for your whiskey glass or your butthole? Because you know you got to go ahead.
It's funny. I'm like, I need 4 fingers, but really, I just filled the fucker up all the way. So whatever.
Here, let me get a little.
I just have a huge glass of fucking 21-year-old scotch now.
That's okay. I'm gonna pour myself a little bourbon.
We should start the show. I mean, just do the show. Let's do the show. Let's just do the show.
We can do that.
It's Sunday. We're back. We're ready to go. We have our preferred brown liquors. I am Bob West. I am with Scott Casanova. This is the Stiff Truth. Welcome to our circus. Hey Scott, how you been, man?
Doing great, man. It's been a long time. I want to say like a month or something like that. I mean, we took a little summer hiatus. It was nice.
We really did.
good time.
I felt like we had summer break.
Yeah, essentially, it's like taking us back to school.
I mean, I'm more tan now.
Look at you. Oh man, looking good. Absolutely. No, I'm doing pretty good, man. And yeah, let's see here. Just a really quick thing. I mean, both of us here are officially a year older since the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
I would say it's kind of a weird thing, but I would say you're officially in your first year of your 40s, because maybe the like 40 is like your last year of your 30s, or it's kind of like a weird, I don't know, it's kind of a weird gray area. I don't know what your take is on that, but I'm definitely in the last official year of my 30s.
Well,
So-
I'll tell you this. I am like prime time dilfing right now. Like that's right. The DILF. That's the age that I've reached, to where I'm still kind of good looking from my younger years, but I have the money of an old man. So I'm like, that's perfect marriage of really what women want, with security and the things that they'll sacrifice with the looks and the body.
Yeah. It is interesting when you're younger and you don't really have much like put away or for yourself, or in way of a like just stability financially. The looks play in a lot more with importance, and they're there, which is great. You know what I mean? In fact, I gotta just tell you this right out of the gate here, because we're cleaning up the garage right now, some other stuff. We even got like one of those big like dumpster type deals like dropped off at the house. We could just load that fucker up. Going through just this morning, I saw some pictures of me like in my senior year of high school, and I was like, geez, it made me depressed.
That stallion.
Seriously. I was like, holy shit, I don't look anything like that anymore. Like there's a vague resemblance in the eyes and the eyebrows, but like the skin was just immaculate and just like so firm and just youthful. It was painful to look at and realize, Jesus, I've aged well, but still I've aged. You know what I mean?
I'd say you have. Good on you. No, I get it, dude. I've seen some pictures too from like when I was in my early 20s, late teens or whatever. And I look and I'm just like, look at that young stallion with his life ahead of him. His pockets are empty, but his balls are full and ready to go. Right. And then I look now and I'm just like, wow, what happened to you? Who are you? Anyway, at least your bank is looking great. It's healthy.
Something's getting healthy, and yes, the back end is doing well here for both of us. But yeah, hey man, little bit besides the birthday, real quick here. What was some highlights? Give me some highlights there of the time off that we took.
Well, we took 2 lake trips. One was Santa Rosa, which was fucking terrible. Don't go. The other one was the Butte, which is great because we're camped like 15-20 feet away from a beachfront fucking lake. Awesome. Hot as fuck at night though. So that kind of sucked. Made me think like, maybe the Elephant Butte isn't exactly the place to go camping. I told Jess, I was like, I'm there sweating my balls off in the tent with zero wind, hating life, seriously contemplating packing up and going into getting a hotel. And I'm just like, we're not in our 20s anymore. We don't have to suffer on the beach anymore. We're like encroaching on middle age now. It's okay for us to have day trips at the lake and then go back to our like 3-star hotel or whatever and go take our shower.
Hold on a second. Why did you pick 3-star hotel?
Well, because it's truth or consequences, dude. I mean, what are you working with down there? Fucking...
I thought you were just mentally humbling yourself and kind of keep things realistic. You're going,
no, dude. I don't believe there's a 4-star hotel in TRC.
Okay. Touche.
So all you're really looking for is like, no bed bugs and a continental breakfast. Can you give me that? I'll take it. so we're sitting there and it's like sucking ass, right? And I'm just like, we're doing this all wrong. We got to remember when we come down to the Butte that we're just going to day trip and then we're going to do it in a hotel. We'll stay at the I think there's a Hilton Express or some shit in TRC. That's the meal ticket right there. You just go check in, go to the beach, go do your thing, come back, shower, watch your cable TV, enjoy the air conditioner and bone out in the morning. And there's nothing wrong with that when you're 40 years old. If you were 25 years old, you'd be a tremendous pussy. But when you're 40, you're not there with your drinking buddies. You're just there with your family. So no one's going to call you a pussy to your face.
This is very true. Plus, I mean, let's just face it, like your back and your spine and everything, they need some cush when you're 40 versus when you're 25. You need the bed. Yeah. You need the fucking bed, bro. At the end of the day. Woo! Yeah, fuck that thing. Fuck that noise.
I mean, it's better than sleeping on like a bed of nails, I guess. I don't know. I've never slept on a bed of nails, so I'm leaving that one up for a maybe.
I don't know, Bob. I don't know. You're into some pretty kinky, weird shit, so I wouldn't put that past you.
So other than that, we did buy our first truck.
Ooh, now I did get to see some pictures of that when I was still on vacation down in Florida. But tell us a little bit about it. Get us worked up. Get us excited.
So
step into the microphone a little bit, slow. Deepen the voice if you have to.
So we went and bought a 2020 Ford F-150 FX4 Off-Road Edition. And let me tell you, it is black. It's got like a standard lift for the off-road, so it just sits a little higher than a lot of them, and it's got the step side bars underneath them, 4-door. This thing is tits. It is fucking tits. But it's a lifelong achievement because it takes like a tremendous circumstance, a serendipitous thing that goes your way in life to be able to get a brand new truck, or it takes hitting like 40 years old and accumulating like a lifetime of fucking credit.
Yeah, well, we talked about this. We talked about this earlier this week. Both you and I I don't think either of us have bought a brand new car off the lot up until this point, right? Until essentially what you just said.
And it wasn't brand new, right? It had a few miles on it. It was
Bob, those technicalities. You got a brand new car. It's in your fucking name. It's a 2020. It's new enough.
Best thing to come out of 2020. I'll tell you that. So yeah, we did get the truck. We made a couple of camping trips. A couple days later, I did sell the Pathfinder, so it's gone. I was just, I'm not going to pay that much for that thing to sit out in my driveway. We're not going to drive that thing when we have Luna, is what Jess has called the truck. Her name is Luna.
Oh, it's got a name and it's a female truck. I like that.
It's a female truck. Good. She's like really butch though, so it's cool. Yeah. She gets along with the dudes. She drinks like a man. So
she plays soccer too, or she chaperones the kids to and fro soccer, right?
Yeah. And Luna plays softball. So
cool. been seeing a Subaru for a little while, but it's not super serious yet.
Right. Oh, that's taking it back. Great recall.
Yeah. You know what? That's what taking a break does, my friend.
Was that season 1? I think that was season 1. Good for you.
It was definitely. It was when we were talking about how government interpreters are usually bulldykish to a certain degree. It seems to be the thing. The career track.
And maybe that's a little harsh, Scott, in today's environment with the bulldykish. Maybe it's a little bit.
Hey, wait, I said ish. I put an ish on the end. It doesn't help.
Maybe it's like you just like lean to one side a little more. Like instead of non-binary, you say it's non-binary. Right? You got to get a little emphasis on the B or something. I don't know. What are you drinking?
Well, I'm right now. I'm just having some casual Kentucky bourbon over here, 7-year aged. It's actually a Kirkland brand. I don't know if you have that premium small batch, but
I have been eyeballing it. I do have to make a Costco run, so maybe soon.
why I picked it up though, I looked at it, I was like, wow, 51.5% alcohol. That's pretty
Ooh,
beefy.
some
So it's
100
over,
proof, huh?
yeah, a little bit over 100 proof, and it is smooth and sweet. Just cracked it open yesterday. I did do a little bit of, remember the smoker that Jamie got me? I smoked a couple of glasses yesterday with Jamie last night. That was pretty cool, man. What about you? What do you got over there? I think it's old, like a little too old for some people.
It is. It's a Grange Stone Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. It's a 21-year-old. All right, see that?
There you go.
So I made the joke off of air, but yes, my Scotch is old enough to order a Scotch. So I got that going for me.
You got a mature Scotch. I'll tell you that right now.
And then I have a 12-year-old over here. Scotch.
Oh, the nice blended Scotch from Costco too. Good stuff, man. Well, I'll tell you what, like I mentioned too, we I think the bulk when we were gone, when did we, God, I think what was it, early, it was after July 4th, right? When we kind of like took
we
the
did
break.
one show and then we've been really
one
off
show
ever since. Yeah.
So yeah, it was July 4th. Well, we had my daughter's birthday, my birthday, but the highlight, we went to the Gulf Coast in Florida, right in between Tampa Bay and St. Pete, Madeira Beach. And I'll tell you, biggest takeaway from there is we did it the opposite of how you did it, roughing it on the lake there. We stayed in
very posh, very extravagant.
Beautiful, just oceanfront condo. I mean, literally, I think you saw the pictures, dude. Like out the I don't know what kind of windows they are, but it's like, you know, windows that kind of like you can see panoramic view outside. It's just the entire beach. It's just gorgeous. But we also went there right smack in the middle during red tide. I'm not sure if you're familiar with red tide, but it's when like a certain like species of algae blooms. Long story short, you're like coughing and hacking up shit, like just because it's
that's always nice to hear during COVID. You're just like, oh,
yeah. So, and what was really funny too is like we get down there, we just set up. We don't even know it's red tide, but me and Jamie are both unloading shit into the condo and Elizabeth, and we're all coughing. We're like catching our breath, like taking it away. And we're like, oh god damn, what the fuck's going on? And we get out there. We have to sit by the beach like the first day we get there for a little bit, right? We go out there. We notice like almost everybody's fucking coughing. You're like, geez, I heard Florida was bad, but I didn't know it was this bad. God damn. I was like, everybody's got COVID, man. But then sure enough, I was like, what is that? Because there's like the tide coming in and the waves kind of reddish. There's like dead fish coming up because it kills the fish and everything too. Before we left, it was gone already, but kind of a funky time because it was Elizabeth's first time at the beach. And she's like, the beach kind of fucking sucks. There's dead fish everywhere and I can't stop hacking up lung. But it was awesome. We did Disney World, dude. I mean, nothing like doing Disney World in the fucking middle of July with like 100-degree weather and 100% humidity. It was amazing, Bob. I suggest you try that.
Can I try it in October?
No, trust me. The whole time I was there, I was like, "Oh God, we should have just came like during like Elizabeth's like Christmas break or some shit, dude. When it's like beautiful here, because it was fucking crazy, but it was awesome. I haven't been to Disney World in 25 years, man, because I used to live in Florida and we used to do that on the regular when I was a little kid. But what a nostalgic little throwback, man. Elizabeth's first time there, the beach. It was great. I'm happy to be back, though. I'm happy to be back. Here we are.
Well, I'm happy that you're back. Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy you got me the shirt too, by the way. This is a nice shirt, man. You know what I mean?
Isn't that shirt? Do I know you or what?
You do. You really do. But, you know, we've been gone for a while, Bob. And I will say probably the most exciting thing, because we're not going to concern ourselves with what's going on with really COVID right now. But the Olympics, baby. Have you got in there and checked anything out? I mean, we are fucking kicking ass, you know, in some events, who really cares? I mean, honestly, I don't really care who wins water polo, but it's been pretty fucking exciting.
Well, I can tell you this, go women's water polo team, fucking America.
Wow. Okay.
They've won 3 Olympic gold medals in a row. So they've got this like domination going on. And
I hit a nerve, didn't I?
Don't diss on water polo.
You know, and I was honestly just picking a random sport out of my head that I was watching the other day that I'm like,
no, actually the women are like bringing home the bacon in the Olympics this year. They really are dominating in just about everything.
Well, we just
was to dominate in.
I know there's a lag or whatever. I don't know if it was live or not, but I did just watch that we just won a gold in women's beach volleyball. I was like, dope. Very good. Very good. Which I think is always a gimme, but it was kind of a struggle this year because we got beat by France in the preliminary round, but we won basketball, which I don't think we should ever fucking lose. That's a stiff truth right there. If you ever lose like US men's basketball and we lose, I mean, we got to reevaluate what's going on in our country. I mean, that's a big thing for me.
And honestly, they should just pay the professionals to just do the Olympics. They should.
Honestly, it'd be really easy, plug and play. It would be kind of a thing to go honor your country when it's an Olympic year. Whoever wins the finals that year, the whole team, cookie cutter. That's the Olympic team. You just go put them in there. Maybe trade out a couple of guys. Yeah, you know what I mean. But I think that'll probably do it.
I'm just gonna say that the Milwaukee Bucks can probably handle fucking Croatia. I'm just
I'll tell you that right now.
So and there's chemistry already. It's probably easier to do it that way than trying to pick an all-star. I mean, back when the Dream Team was done, that was a huge deal in '92, right? Yeah, I think they started maybe '88, and then '92 was the Dream Team, right? But because before that, it had been collegiate athletes because they wouldn't send professionals over to the Olympics, right? It was always
it's kind of the stupidest thing, man. It's like you're competing against the world for like national pride. You know what I mean? You're not going to put what is the best in there. You're like, yeah, we've got like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird sitting over here, but put this kid in who's done pretty good for 3 years now at Kentucky. You're like, what are you doing here?
And now all these, what really changed it is the global expansion of the NBA, right? Is when all of these teams started having 3 to 5 NBA players on them, right? And that's when we're like, wait a minute. We gotta be sending college kids out there to take on like Spain or France or whatever. There's like 5 NBAers on that team. They're gonna squash those college kids. And then that's when it was, I think, decided like let's not get our ass kicked and get embarrassed in the sport that is an American sport.
Well,
it's like getting handed to in baseball.
I was just gonna say that, believe it or not, I don't know if you followed it, but Japan beat us to take gold for baseball.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what though? That's one thing I was telling Jamie yesterday. I was like, we were just watching some of that the baseball Olympics. I was like, dude, you can't fuck around with Japan or China really in baseball. They took a liking to that shit, and they really I think that's the biggest sport in Japan is baseball. Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I would say probably is, right?
Outside of like sumo wrestling or some shit like that. But honestly, they
40s. I'd say you're spot on with baseball.
But we did kick some ass in gymnastics, and that's where our first conversation comes in here, buddy. I mean, I'm sure you watched it. Everybody on our team kicks ass, but everybody was just so fired up about Simone Biles. Simone Biles is fucking the best, the most athletic, and the most precision, just the best gymnast to ever put on the goddamn shit.
Yeah, she's one of the most athletic people in the modern world, just in general.
Yeah, 100%.
As athleticism and dominance, and I mean that chick bounces like 12 feet in the air.
No,
just off of doing flips and jumping off the ground. Like she doesn't need like some crazy trampoline or anything to aid her. It's just she's crazy, and she's like 5 foot tall, 4'11" or something like that.
Yeah, she's really, really short. She was next to the judge the other day when I was watching TV, and I was like, wow, either that chick's like 6'5" or she's like under 5 foot, because goddamn, it just it just looked ridiculous there. But I mentioned it. She doesn't need anything. Apparently she does need something. And this is why people, I don't know if everybody is seeing behind this, but a lot of people, I'm sure are giving her a lot of shit, because I think everybody had their hopes up in America that she was going to come in and fucking dominate everybody in gymnastics. And she went ahead and bowed out of numerous competitions because she said her head wasn't in the game. She wasn't feeling it, right? And I'm sure you've seen it. There's been so many fucking people shitting on her. I've actually seen a couple of pretty funny memes and gifs about it or what have you. But I mean, what are your thoughts about this, Bob, in general, when you heard this? I mean, were you also kind of a little disappointed here? I mean, where were you at?
No, I mean, first of all, she's in the twilight years of her career for gymnastics, right? She's 24 years old. So as far as gymnastics goes, I mean, she's fortunate to even be in this Olympics. It's not very common for someone in their mid 20s to be an Olympian in gymnastics anymore. So so she got that going for her. So and I think because of all the medals and all the just the normal world championships and things that she's done every year. I saw an interesting stat for her. that in any competition she's ever entered in, she has gotten first overall since she was like 13 years old. Never lost. She's never lost. Every single one overall, every single time she's competed. Now, that's insane. I mean, that is like 10 plus years of domination. The only thing I was dominated at 13 was like my masturbating technique. You know what I mean?
That definitely I can attest to. I was pretty much dialed in at 13 too. I figured out what it was around like 9 or 10. Yeah, and got that time in. Good for you.
By the time I was 13, full blown Olympic form. But so
help! Here comes the dismount.
so she's earned her say to do whatever the fuck she wants to do. Right. I mean, if she's not feeling right, and she wants to do something or doesn't want to do something or whatever, something just feels a little bit off. And I don't care if it's a fucking superstition. Someone didn't put her green M&Ms in the fucking training room before the competition. She's earned the right to pull out. She's earned the right to do whatever the fuck she wants to do. She's one of the most decorated Olympians we've ever had. It wasn't right for her. She didn't have her meds. It wasn't allowed. And honestly, I think there's a level of safety that also goes in that decision. Like she could very easily hurt herself. I mean, we'd even talked about this last week before in the meeting, right? It is like she could be 12 feet in the air and not feeling right and come down and snap her leg. Now she's trying to have kids and a normal family in the next couple of years, and she's walking around with a fucking cane. You know what I mean? Like, so she needs to be concerned about her safety and her well-being too. It gave way for an opportunity for Suni, what's her last name?
Suni Lee.
Suni Lee. Right. Yeah. So I was gonna say Lee, but then I was like, it's probably not Lee. You're just being racist.
Nope. Sure enough, it's fucking Lee.
so Sunika Lee, right? Suni Lee, won the overall. She won the fucking gold that she replaced Biles that she would have won the gold. So it gave her an opportunity to prove herself. She proved herself. Great moment for her. Walked home. The team still did great. They finished with the silver instead of the gold. They lost to Russia, which whatever, you know. They did great. Those girls did great. Simone Biles still went back in and did come away with a bronze, right? She still medaled at this one and left, so she'll take that and walk away like, look, I did come back in time to at least finish one of my things and get my head.
I think she got bronze on balance beam. I want to say she got it on the beam.
I think so. I think you're right.
And you made a great point there, Bob. Is I mean, a lot of people were upset. I think they thought everything was resting on her shoulders, right? Like kind of like she's the best. She needs to be there. She took herself out because she needed to get her head straight. She needed to and I'll talk about my thoughts on that in a minute. But yeah, we still did a phenomenal job. I think there's multiple people that got medals on the team. I mean, we still kicked ass. But the other thing is what is going on. I mean, she's taking something for ADHD that's essentially a type of methamphetamine. That's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, it's definitely in the amphetamine family.
Yeah, but for some reason, I don't know how that works with just chemicals and all that shit with your head and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I can see how that can be seen as a performance enhancing drug. However, because of the medical condition in 2016, right, in Rio, she got like an exemption for that. But in Japan, those type of drugs, anything for ADHD, I don't think there's any legal drugs that we use for ADHD that are also legal in Japan. And those laws in the country supersede the laws of the whatever the Olympics want to say, right? If you're in the host country, it's illegal. You can't fucking do that. So that really makes a lot more sense to me. And why, like, when you peek behind the curtain a little bit on this is not just her being a fucking like a scared little bitch about it. You know what I mean? And feel like getting the jitters. She legitimately has been taking at least ADHD medication habitually at least for 4 years. And I can say at least for 4 years because she did it in fucking Rio, right? You know what I mean?
And that's not something that you just cold turkey. I mean,
no. It's basically like somebody, we talked about it too, like somebody like myself that's had anxiety, has been taking some kind of anti-anxiety medication, and they're like, hey man, you're going to go compete in the Olympics. By the way, you can't take your Xanax with you. You're like, what the fuck? What do you mean? What am I going to do? So that even adds to what you were saying earlier about she could make a misstep, because she can't focus. It's even more likely for her to get hurt if she's not taking her medication that helps her keep her focus, in general. So I don't know, man. Like, I really think that a lot of people out there are pieces of shit for kind of dragging her name through the mud a little bit here and just kind of chalking it up as face value shit when they're not even taking the time to kind of understand why.
Right, like leave her the fuck alone. She's like an American icon, a fucking hero, right? And she's done more for America with representing us in the Olympics for like the last like 3 Olympics. Like, leave her the fuck alone. She's earned the right to set her shoes down and walk off like that wrestler did a couple Olympics ago, right? I mean, she can do whatever the fuck she wants to do.
And you know what? She's 4'8". Jesus Christ.
4'8".
That's adorable, isn't it? She's like almost like a little garden.
She's like a little pocket gymnast. You just pull her out and she goes and gets gold medals for you.
But yeah, other than that, man, I mean, the Olympics have been really fun, dude. I know it's drawn to a close. And it's making me a little bit disappointed because I enjoy at any hour of the day, every single day now for the last couple of weeks to be able, let me just turn on the TV and see what's on. Oh, it's fucking rowing. Awesome. Sweet. Oh, cool. It's fucking tennis table. Oh, fucking cool. It's gymnastics. Oh, cool. It's fucking track and field. It's really cool for somebody that's really, enjoys as a spectator for all kinds of sporting like that. It's a real special time every 4 years to get.
You know what I miss? I miss the pageantry of the way that Olympics used to be back in the day. So back in the day when there's only like 50 channels on cable, right? And I'm talking like the early 90s, mid 90s. When the Olympics came around, the whole country stopped. Yeah. And for 2 weeks, everyone was on their TV every fucking night at ABC or NBC or whoever's putting it on. But everyone's glued to the Olympics every night. All the commercials are there. And this is like Super Bowl time, right?
Yeah.
I miss that because now that it's on cable and everyone's viewing options is so spread out anymore, the primetime networks don't cover it like that anymore. So now you're watching it on ESPN and you're watching it wherever. And it is definitely different. And I think that maybe that's something we need to circle back to and even draft up a deal for these networks to get a better deal to host the coverage of the Olympics, because I think it being just on primetime mainstream television gives everyone that chance to come and sit down for a minute and watch these fucking hardworking Americans like represent us, because what they're doing is a lifetime achievement, right? You have to, master your craft and work so hard and be the best in the world at what you do to even get through the trials to represent a country in the Olympics. And I don't think that we give them enough credit anymore, because I don't think they're in our face anymore.
Speaking directly to that, about just not giving enough credit, I find myself, just because, again, I'm a very competitive person at nature. I was watching, it was men's marathon, right? Watching the end of that, Jesus Christ, it just makes me tired watching it. But watching everybody cross the finish line, I still find myself like, the 9th or 10th guy that comes in very last. Like, well, what are you doing, you fucking schlub? Pick it up, you dead. But really, that guy is a better athlete than I'll ever be. Like 20 of me would ever be. But yet we forget, like, even the people that come in dead last in the Olympics are fucking amazingly disciplined, like machines. You know what I mean? And sometimes that gets lost. Yeah, it really is amazing. It's always an awe kind of moment watching the Olympics, especially fucking gymnastics. I said this to Jamie. I'm just going to make this a stiff truth right now. I think all around fucking Olympic gymnasts, male and female, are the most athletic like people in the world.
They're fucking superheroes, dude.
Yeah, I don't think any other sport or anything like that highlights the attributes and the skills that you have as just a physical specimen versus some type of gymnastics display. That's kind of my thing right there.
And it really is a lifetime of work. Like, you have to work from your 5 to 10 years old area all the way up until your mid-teens to your 20s. Nonstop, every day, dedication, strength training.
I was just gonna say, just like with your masturbation, right?
Yes. And then I became a pro.
Nonstop, every day, training.
That's right. So, 100%. Did you happen to catch the what was it? The men's 4x1 medley relay in swimming? Did you see that?
I did not.
Okay, so this is an event that the U.S. has won for 15 Olympics straight, the gold medal. And for like 4 or 5 of them, we had Ryan Phelps. So That's a third of them.
Michael
Oh,
Phelps.
sorry, Michael Phelps.
You're
We had
thinking
a third of them, right?
what's the guy that always got second? He was almost like what's his name in
He's the guy that got in trouble in that South
think his name
American
was-
country or whatever.
I thought it was
Lochte.
Ryan. Yeah, Ryan Lochte.
Yeah.
Him and
Yes.
Michael Phelps were just like fucking almost like
It's
Will
like Dan and
Ferrell.
Dave.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say, like Talladega Nights, like him and his buddy.
Shake and Bake.
Shake and Bake. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So these guys were actually underdogs, right? When they came in, because the British team has been dominating. Nice.
Hell or High Watermelon Wheat Beer. Fantastic. Anyways.
So the Brits were actually, supposed to win that. And they were up, but then the men just like nutted up and just pulled one out.
Always with the masturbation rhetoric. I love that.
But they did, and they somehow, against all odds, like ended up winning that. And if you get a chance to go back, watch the 4x100 medley swimming relay. It's an incredible event, very quick, right? Because it's just 100, it's down and back, 4 guys down and back, down and back, down and back, down and back, done, right? And it is pretty incredible, because I guess the best swimmer in the world is now on the British team. So anyway, I just happened to catch that, and I was just like, oh, they're like, oh, the pressure on the Americans, and I was like, yeah, I'm sure there is pressure. They've never lost this during their lifetimes.
That's kind of, again, just like your masturbation, it's kind of like your stroke play right there. It's down and back, down and back, down and back, done, right? I mean, you've got it down to that kind of science. You're like 4 pumps and you're done.
I mean, maybe 6.
I'd like to be a little modest.
I built a tolerance, so when I'm feeling tantric, it's like 8 pumps.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
So,
wow.
Yeah, I agree. The Olympics, it's a great time of year, and because it's 2021, there's an Olympics next year, correct? The summer or the Winter Olympics.
Yes, yeah, because this was, I mean, everybody's been looking at Tokyo 2020. Yes, I mean, everybody knows the calendar year is 2021. We had to push things back because of COVID. So I think we're lined up to have 2022 Winter Olympics regular. I don't know where the fuck it's going to be. I haven't even looked into it.
Which would make the trials, I believe, should be later this year then, because they're usually,
I would imagine,
like
so,
the year before, right? So they can finish training with the actual people to make the team, leading up for the next 9 months or so. So I think that would put it this fall for the Winter Olympic trial. So let's see how that goes.
Quick poll for you here. Winter Olympics or Summer Olympics?
Oh man, they're so different. I'm a classical guy. I really like the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
But there's some events in the Winter Olympics that are just fucking awesome to watch, and true spectator sports. Obviously, the big air, snowboarding and skiing competitions are super awesome to watch. And of course, Shaun White made the half pipe an event. You know what I mean? So there's that, but there's also like the downhill, the Super G and all that's super fun in the Winter Olympics. And there's just something about someone doing like 65 miles an hour down a mountain.
That's right.
That's just balls to the wall, where their skis are barely on the mountain because they're trying to go as fast as they possibly can. And if they wreck, it's spectacular, so there's something about that. And honestly, dude, I fucking love watching the fucking luge and the skeleton.
There you go. I will
really
say, I agree with you, though. If it comes down to it, I'm going to be more of a Summer Olympics guy, just because, dude, track and field
all day.
I mean, that to when I hear Olympics, Olympian, the first thing that pops into my head is somebody jumping fucking hurdles or some shit, or
Carl
fucking
Lewis, man,
pole vaulting or something. But I will tell you, gymnastics is my jam. If we're talking about what I think is the most dynamic for any Olympics, if you go to the Winter Olympics, though, fucking figure skating, dude, goddamn, those motherfuckers are on point too. Especially like the duo type figure skating and everything. That's some pretty intense shit as well. So outside of like the more extreme winter sports that are obviously more macho and just more fun to that extent, I'm a big fan of the figure skating. So there it is.
Yeah, I was trying to look because the American sprinter, I'm trying to find her name. Here she is.
Allison Felix?
Yes. Allison Felix. She just tied Carl Lewis to be the most decorated, track
I
and
thought
field.
I thought she surpassed him yesterday because
Oh, look.
she has 11 now.
Okay, you're right. You're right. It becomes the most decorated. Yep.
Yeah, dude.
So I mean, she snuck that in there, right?
Dude.
Like, and it's kind of disgraceful that she's not getting the run that she really deserves for what she's accomplished there.
Dude, and talk about a beast of a lady right there, dude. Not only is she the most decorated track and field Olympian for the US, she's also a 35-year-old mother. She's not no spring chicken. I mean, in the Olympian game, right? Where like the average age is like fucking 14 for some sports. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like swimming and fucking gymnastics and stuff like that. So yeah, no, she's a badass. That's the other thing that that's a huge win for America in the Olympics this year.
Yeah,
We're kicking ass.
I thought if we're doing Olympics, we have to bring up Allison Felix because she's up there with Michael Phelps. I mean,
she is.
She's on the monument of champions for the history of the Olympics for America.
Yeah. This is very true, my friend. Well, I'll tell you what, we kicked some ass. I know China, last time I checked, China's winning in the medal count, both in gold and overall. But I think we were second last time I looked. Do you know? I mean, your screensaver says a little bit of a tale.
I just had pulled that up. It was showing us in first.
Oh, was it? Interesting.
With 39 golds. I forget the count. It's out of my picture here.
Well, fucking America.
For some reason. But I did save it. I'll just pull it up real quick and let you know. I've got it. Medal count.
I'll tell you what, while you're looking that up,
okay,
make a little bit of a go ahead.
I got it. It's 113 medals.
Okay.
39 gold, 41 silver, 33 bronze. China. So you're probably thinking about gold.
Okay,
but
gold.
We did just pass them in gold. And now they have 88 medals. So not near us in medal count overall, but they have 38 gold. So I imagine a couple of days ago, they were probably winning in gold. So that's probably what they were talking about. But then it's 32 silver, 18 bronze. And then next is Russia. I believe that's Russia.
It is Russia. It's the ROC. I was actually looking that up when I was watching the Olympics like last week with Jamie. I was like, what the fuck is this all about? It's the doping scandal that they had. There were so many people that were Russian athletes that were accused or found guilty of some kind of fucking drug use or something like that, that they got stripped of their country. So essentially, whoever wins a medal now that's Russian, that they win it for an individual, like the individual, I guess reward is there to the person, but the country doesn't technically get credit for it, and it doesn't count towards like historic medals for Russia. And that's kind of the Olympics doing their I guess discipline on Russia for performance enhancing drugs. That's what I heard.
Well, I say they just allow them. I think we've had this conversation before. Yeah. Let's just make some athletic freaks out there and let's all have a spectator sport of it.
Why not? I mean, seriously. I mean, there's always well, that's not fair, because I was like, well, then why don't you dope too? And that way everybody's doped up and then everybody's going crazy and breaking records, right? Who cares?
Someone's bicep just pops out of their arm during a competition and falls on the floor. That'd be epic.
Who cares if every record holder is smashed like by far or whatever? They're going to be dead anyways in a while. You know what I mean? No big deal. We got to push forward for spectator happiness is what I say. Absolutely.
It'll be the Running Man for Olympics. Just make criminals to the Olympics and just pump them full of drugs. I'm pretty morbid.
I'll tell you what, Bob, I will admit here that, and I still feel good about it too. I was doing some peeking around here. I think it's pretty funny about the other little topic we're going to discuss today. If anybody doesn't see my background there, that's Cochise right there, getting ready to bust some punks with his little speed gun. But I looked it up, and you had mentioned something when we were talking about just police ticket quotas, essentially, right? Like basically, what the fuck is this? It's always been a long running joke, right? I don't know about you, but every time it's close to the end of the month, beginning of the month, even, you see a little bit more than usual police officers out there trying to do ticky-tacky arrests. And what I mean by that is it's not like serious, important crimes. It's usually traffic or parking related, right? Something like that. And then you said, well, I don't think Albuquerque doesn't have that. I looked it up. A lot of people say they don't have it, but it seems to be a resounding unwritten rule that there are these expectations for officers to arrest a minimum number of people. And when you boil it down to brass tacks, we talked about this the other day. Hold on a second.
Get in there, man.
There we go. Just a little lung butter in there. But the police generate a shitload of money from parking violations and speeding tickets and things of the like, right? So it seems to be one of those things that they just don't want to talk about very much, but they unofficially encourage police officers to arrest a certain number of people, not arrest, ticket a certain number of people so they can keep the revenue generating going for the city or municipality.
Well, you got to look at it like this. Even if there's not a in writing quota to be hit, your performance eval will come. You're like, well, I see here that your numbers aren't exactly, matching up with the average of the department. So then you're below average. So then you wouldn't get your annual, 3 to 5% raise or whatever it is, right? So even if there's not an official number that you have to hit or be reprimanded, there's still an incentivizing sort of number that they would prefer you hit. And if you want your performance eval to be, to be a rock star, is to get your full raise every year. So no matter what they say, they have quotas because there's those expectations, and it's in all jobs. Like you may have it in sales, right? It's just like, well, it's not that we want you to sell a certain number that you have to sell above the minimum, but we want you to sell a certain number above the minimum.
Yeah, right. Well, and it's really funny too. I think it's universal. It's like, hey, do you guys, Dade County Police or Albuquerque Police Department, do you guys do police quotas? Like, no, absolutely not. No fucking way. What we do is we have expectations for minimum activity per officer for the month. You know what I mean?
Some would call that a quota. No. And it's all rhetoric, right?
But this is kind of the most fucked up thing to know that this was definitely an official thing. And when I was reading this and looking this shit up, a lot of people were much more open about it 10 to 20 years ago. That's where there wasn't as much noise. Lately, in the past 10 years and less, there's been a lot of people saying that they've outlawed them, meaning that at one point in time they were inlawed. You know what I mean? So
outlawed talking about them.
Yeah, outlawed talking about it essentially. But I thought to myself, I was like, God damn, to look at police activity as solely, to a certain extent, solely a revenue generating job and activity seems to me a little fucked up. It seems to me a little bit sideways of what we understand and what the definition of a police officer in the police force is. That to me was a little bit eye-opening. I was like, wow. But then you do, like you said, you think about it, you're like, well, I mean, it is just like any other type of organization when it comes down to brass tacks. They do need to generate revenue, not only to pay officers, but to buy equipment, to keep the lights on, whatever it is. And it really didn't cross my mind that some people would take that and run with it a little bit more when they know, hey, you know what? The more revenue we make, the more profit we make on top of everything that we have to cover for cost. And then where does that profit go? Well, that can go in my pocket. I forgot that there's people like that out there everywhere.
Well, in the day and age that we live in, it's very strange, right? Because I know we've talked about the whole defund the police, right? And what does that look like? And it's like, well, it's like restructuring how we approach different things. And traffic, I think, is one of those things, right? I think there needs to be an overall different look at how traffic cops function. Like traffic cops should be responding to calls and accidents and needs, not sitting there on the corner with their speed gun out like a homeboy behind you there, just trying to bust some punks, right? We all have cell phones with GPS. Our cars mostly have GPS. Why the fuck is it just not regulated? Hey, you're on this road. Your GPS reported that you're doing 57. So, well, it was a 45 and it was during school zone hours, dick. It was 35. You're just going to get a ticket in the mail. You got busted. Drive responsibly. Quit being an asshole. This is a privilege, right? And if that was just automatic, people would stop doing it and people would just drive. Like
if they knew it was like Big Brother, like, it was like, dude, if I go over the speed limit more than 5 miles per hour, I'm going to get a fucking ticket. I know it. I just know it. So I'm not going to do it.
And if that was just automated, it would put it into it like right away. Like 100%. The first year, you'd see a bunch of bitching about it, right? Mama freedom, all this other stuff, right? But once it just fucking
wait, a bunch of people that are getting COVID right now.
Oh man, too much.
I said it. I said it.
You definitely did. But still, like, your freedom to break the law. Yeah, cool. You should not break the law. That's why there's laws, right? That's how, like, that's our civil contract, right? We follow the laws, because if you don't follow the laws, why have them, right? So if everyone was just there and it's just like, hey, if you're going to speed, your car's just going to tell on you at this point, and you're just going to have to mail in the ticket for whatever that is. So if you need a speed, it better be fucking worth the ticket, because you're going to get it, right? And now, if you're in the rush to the hospital, maybe you could then try to plead with the judge about why and what was going on.
100%. Look, I've got chest pains, and I went 20 miles over because I was about to have a heart attack, or my wife was pregnant and she was getting shit all over the new leather in my car. You know what I mean?
Or like I was about to shit my pants. In fact, I did. I didn't make it.
That's legitimate. You don't.
I hauled ass all the way to the closest gas station.
I don't know about you, but total sidebar here, but it has to do with what you were just saying. One of my biggest fears, because I've been in this situation, I was like, man, I hope I don't get pulled over right now, is when all of a sudden my gut just hits me and I got to take like an explosive diarrhea shit. And I'm on the road and I need to get to a bathroom. I don't care, get to a Chevron, whatever. But that's always been my nightmare. It's like,
the lead foot just starts getting a little heavier and heavier.
Can you imagine though to be in that state where your stomach's like just beating the shit out of your anus, dude, and like ready to rock, and then the cherries go on, you have to pull over, and like, what are you gonna do? Get out of the car and like be like, officer, he's gonna draw his weapon right out of the gate.
Comes out to you, you're like all sweating and shit. He's like, are you on drugs, boy? No, I got a shit.
I wonder if any cop would be cool enough to see it, recognize he's been in that situation before, be all, you know what, dude, I'll follow you to the gas station. Take your fucking time, bro. It looks like it's really affecting you.
We'll talk about this when you've evacuated your bowels. We'll have a civil conversation after the room has cleared, right?
He's like, dude, bro, everything was fried. I ate yesterday, bro. You got to understand, man. I just got to go to that restroom real quick. I mean, total sidebar, but it's always worried, man. Luckily, it hasn't happened yet. I haven't got pulled over when I'm a bit in that emergency kind of state.
Well, all I'm saying is that I think that the traffic cop, as far as like coming to a stop at a stop sign or blowing a signal, right, a light, or speeding, that should all be automated. Why the fuck are we leaving that up to interpretation at all anymore? Let's just automate that shit and get it done.
Well, honestly, Bob, you probably just knocked two birds with one stone there, right? You freed up the police officers to do things that are more important and focus on real,
like preventing crime and helping people.
Yeah, focusing on real crime. And then also, if you would do that, there'd probably be some kinks you have to work out initially in the software or what have you. Sure. But you would have exponentially more tickets written by the machines
and make way more money, at least initially.
Think about how many times that I've been coasting down the freeway at 30, 40 miles per hour over the speed limit, but I see a cop up ahead and I slow the fuck down and I don't get pulled over. What if that cop wasn't there and it's just happening all the time? I'm probably never going to speed that much, right?
You just get a text message that says, ding, $250 ticket.
Yo, son of a bitch.
Down. You're like, oh shit, if you don't slow down in the next like 5 minutes, you're gonna get another $250 ticket. Oh shit, right? Yeah. If that's how it worked, it would be so much more civil. Then there's no arguing, there's no interpretation. I think we just solved traffic in America.
That was pretty easy. See, we need to remember that breaks are good, right? We need to take breaks and we need to recharge. But when we get together, magic happens, Bob. And I'll tell you what, this is case in point right here. We just literally solved I'll say a global problem in 20, 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Over some whiskey. I mean,
hey, cheers.
So you're welcome, world. You're welcome.
I'll tell you one more thing.
Your problems to us.
I'll tell you one more thing that really pisses me off about cops and talking about traffic cops. Does this ever fucking it almost makes me want to explode when this happens, when the dickhead cop that's trying to get a ticket, right? He's trying, and I get it, right? If he hasn't like wrote a ticket in like 3 days, like his superior's like, what are you fucking doing out there? There's got to be
all day.
Yeah, there's got to be people breaking the fucking law.
I see your GPS keep pinging Dunkin' Donuts, but you have 0 tickets. Like,
what's going on here, bud? But it's the guy that gets behind you and like trails you until you fuck up, because a lot of people, regardless if you're doing anything wrong, you get nervous when a cop is tailing you and say you make a right turn. You're like, you know what? I need to relax, bro. I need to get this cop off my ass, you make a turn, he turns right with you. When that happens, I don't care what you're doing or what kind of saint you are, your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up, you start to think a little bit weird, you start to do erratic shit, and you're bound to do something like, oh, you were swerving, because I tailed you for the last 12 miles and I saw you swerve eventually. That really pisses me off because they know they're going to get something, and goddamn them for that. That's all I got to say.
Well, and also they usually do it to people with shitty cars.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's profiling.
Because I have a 2005 Focus. It's got like several cracks in the windshield. It's got 250,000 miles on it. I told Daring I need to like probably replace this car because we live in a rancho and I'm gonna get a DWP soon, like driving while poor, right? Because you're not allowed to be poor in Rio Rancho, or they'll try to pull you over for it, right?
I can totally see that to the cops. Like, yeah, that guy looks like he's made a couple of bad choices in life. Let me just
right, like, well, let's go look for the meth in this guy's Focus, right? And it still runs. So like the cheapskate in me is just like, well, I'll drive it till it fucking stops driving, right? But then like the mindful person is me. Yeah, but you live in a rancho. The cops are going to start harassing you in this car, right? So there's something to that. I feel like at this point, the target is starting to get bigger and bigger every time I drive the Focus around town. So I'm just going to drive that brand new 2020 F-150 FX4 off-road package.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I just heard package and all that stuff before was just pure sex. You know what I mean?
Just oozing with anticipation when you drive this off-road machine.
Yeah. So that's the other stiff truth today is like, get out there and get yourself a new car and quit being a piece of shit with your, no, that's not right. But yeah, I agree. I noticed that too when I drive my shitbox Subaru. That's right. I have one of those, and it's a 2008 that's got a cracked windshield and some other stuff missing on it too. But I always feel like the radar's on me in more ways than one.
It's when I'm the Eye of Sauron, dude. It just it just starts following your car around. You're like, what?
Leave it to Bob to throw in a nice geeky reference to Lord of the Rings. I love it. Get in there.
You hop in your car and you're just like, oh shit, I forgot my wedding ring. And you put it in your wedding ring. It's like, I see you. Is that a fucking stater?
Oh my God.
So let's say it again. Bob is an idiot.
Oh, Bob is retarded. Wait, can we say that anymore? Bob is mentally handicapped. No, that doesn't sound as cool as retarded. That sounds better.
No, you got to say retarded.
Yeah. And you got to say it in that accent too. Like you used to live on Long Island, but now you live in South Beach. You know what I mean? And you fish off the pier like 24/7 and like an old like fishing hat and some shit.
Like, what are we rehashing the plot of Dexter? Like what's going on here?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. In fact, I'll leave you with this here too, because I think we're coming up on time, but are you pumped for the new Dexter? Did you see that that's going to be coming out? Did you see that?
I did not.
Yes. I'm glad that I could give you this lovely news on air here, but yeah, they're going to be popping out another season of Dexter. I don't know.
Same guy? I mean, it's got to be the same guy, right?
I don't know any details. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know much, but I know I love you.
Well, I hope it's the same guy. So, because he just played this great,
oh, dude,
serial killer, like autistic serial killer. And that's the only way I can describe Dexter.
Yeah,
definitely on the spectrum.
Yeah, definitely got to kill this guy. Definitely got to kill this bad guy. Yeah, it's Michael C. Hall. He's a badass, but he's got that nutty look in his eye, man. He's great, but we'll see. I don't know. Is Dexter? Let me just real quick. Season 9. Which premieres Sunday, November 7th at 9 p.m.
I did just see an ad for season 4 of Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
So
December, baby.
So that one's a comment. So everyone's excited about that. I know there's a new season. I don't know if you watched The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
I did. Actually,
season 4 of that's coming soon. So that'll be
also
awesome.
The much awaited season 2 of The Witcher will be coming out.
So I finally sat down and watched all the episodes.
Oh my
God. I'm watching it, right?
Good?
And then Jess is like, what are you watching? Because there's just fucking tits and sex everywhere, every episode, right? And then she's like, what are you watching? And I was like, oh, it's The Witcher. The guy that played Superman, like Henry Cavill, it's The Witcher. It's based off a video game. And she's like, well, it's like very Games of Thrones. And I was like, it's very Games of Thrones.
Yeah,
yes, you would probably love it. And she's
it's fucking awesome.
And you're watching it without me? And I was like, well, to be fair, I started with you and said, hey, let's watch The Witcher. It's very Games of Thrones. And you just continued to TikTok on your phone. And then like 5 episodes later, you didn't know what the fuck was going on and you were disinterested because now I'm mid-season.
We got a lot of interesting and great things coming up here. We got some fantastic cinema coming up. I mean, as you just mentioned, there's some great shows coming out. We've got now the pandemic of the unvaccinated going on right now. This is a really exciting time.
That's must-see TV.
It's really must-see TV.
You know, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder, like, I think that's going to affect the midterms. I hate to be so callous about it, but I think it's going to affect the midterms because now there's a predominantly conservative, hit of the infection rate and what's happening down south. And some of these races are close. And so I'm just curious to see, like, ends up, I don't want to start a whole new topic on the show. I think it might affect the midterms, just the demographic of the way that things are going.
We'll see what happens, Bob. As you know, we are living in a very unique and strange time right now. I'm glad to be a part of it. I couldn't be happier.
Well, we'll get through this. I know I will. And if shit gets crazy, I'll just take a drive in my 2020 But seriously, you've been great, Scott. You've been great. I've missed your face.
Thank you, baby.
Missed your voice,
baby. Yeah, it's been nice.
This is a great show. I look forward to getting in some work over the next few months and no more time off for a while. School is starting up, we're back into the full swing of normal life, minus COVID, but fall is here. Summer break is over and we need to move forward. So back to work for us. So we will be back next week with another amazing show. Thank you everyone for your listening. Thank you to all of our patrons.
Absolutely
helping the show. We will keep trying to, better the show for your, listening and viewing experience. Anything to add, Scott?
You know what? You've done a great job, Bob. We'll see everybody next week, guys.
See ya.